don't feel it is somewhat, maybe I use the word impolite, to choose that day for your anti-royal lunch?
No, not at all. I mean, let's be clear about this, okay? The monarchy is a political institution which is steeped in vested interest and power. There's a lot of, there's an agenda being pushed by the monarchy, and they use these kind of events to promote the institution, to promote the individuals, obviously promote William as a future king. It's part of a PR exercise. Now, obviously, they can get married, and that's all fine, and everyone will be happy for the couple, but the way in which they do it, the scale in which they do it, that is quite deliberate and designed to perpetuate certain myths about the monarchy, perpetuate the idea that people are all in love with it, and perpetuate the idea that it is simply a benign institution when it's not. It's actually a very deeply political institution, and so it's quite appropriate for people that oppose it to use these opportunities to make that point. If we didn't, then we would be leaving people with the impression that everyone does support the monarchy.
Thank you very much.
Not the case.
Thank you, Simon. Come back on that. Graham's got strong views, so why shouldn't he protest?
Well, I think, first of all, Jeremy, citizens should have the opportunity to voice their protest if they feel strongly about a particular issue. And my word, they certainly have that opportunity in this country. However, I do feel there is a time and a place so to do. Otherwise, it's nothing more than mean-mindedness. It's destructive. It's nasty. This is one of the most joyous occasions in this country's history. The wedding of two people themselves, whatever you feel about the monarchy, two young people of great integrity, William and Kate, and the thought that they may be subjected, or this whole occasion may be subjected, some of the scenes that we witnessed last Saturday, I'm afraid is very disappointing. 4 billion people, Jeremy, watching this wedding. What a great advertisement for this country. And it shows you the popularity worldwide of our royal family, who unfortunately are never able to stand up for themselves. They cannot go into the prep and stand up for themselves.
Paul Blanchard, come in on that.
I think they're perfectly entitled to stand up for themselves. If they want to stand for election and resign their position, they're entitled to. The point is, the monarchy is fundamentally ridiculous. It's not accountable. It's not elected. This is a huge amount of free PR for the monarchy, and it shouldn't be allowed. And if they are going to have that free PR, then frankly, we ought to be able to peacefully protest that and point out the ridiculousness of the monarchy.
When you say peacefully protest, let's try and work out where the line is. Are you okay with people running around in balaclavas?
Well, I personally wouldn't do that. I don't think that's particularly a nice thing. But again,
are you against other people doing it?
Well, it's a freedom of speech thing. No, I'm not.
No, it's not. They should. Nobody in a public place, particularly if they're protesting about something, should not cover their face.
It should be cover their faces for religious reasons. That's not.
No, it's not for religious reasons. It's to hide their identity. It's nothing to do with religion.
Well, first of all, please calm down. Let's have a sensible debate here.
Because they're thoroughly ashamed of what they're doing.
This is a huge PR coup for the monarchy, which is, we're choosing our head of state here by the genetic lottery of the Windsor family. It's fundamentally ridiculous, and of course we should have the right to peaceably protest.
Well, I and millions of others respect them.
Well, I respect the monarchy as well. I mean, in terms of the Queen has done quite a good job.
Quite a good job.
Of course she has.
She's been magnificent. I would use that adjective, magnificent.
Okay, Simon, what would you allow in terms of protest? Are you obviously not against all protest, because you made the point that in principle this is a country which allows protest. Would you allow the character who is on Parliament Square at the moment, Brian Hoare, to stay there if it was your choice?
If it was my choice, no. For that particular day, I'd have it cleared. When we got 4 billion people watching, he's made his protest on a daily basis. We've all got the point. I think on this particular day, as I've mentioned already, Jeremy, this is a joyous occasion, and it means a lot to a lot of people, not just to the royal family, but to the citizens of this country.
But it means a lot to him as well. That's why he's there. He wants to hold up a placard.
Yes, of course it means a lot to him, and that's why he's been allowed to stay there day in, day out. If he lived in some other countries in the world, he wouldn't be allowed to do it. Not for not for an hour. Not for a minute. We should respect the fact that we live in a very, very liberal democracy. But I think it is a sad indictment that we have to have for a royal wedding, police snipers on rooftops,
you either believe in freedom of speech or you don't. I'm not going to be told that I have to be quiet on a certain day, especially when all that attention is there. The monarchy...
But everything
hang on, Simon.
The monarchy are a bunch of uninspiring individuals. They represent the very worst of Britain. Snobbish, elitist...
What a nasty person you are.
Utterly out...
What a nasty person you are.
Utterly out...
What a nasty person you are.
Utterly out... touch with the rest of the country. The point is that we should be entitled for our freedom of speech to say that we have legitimate criticisms. I mean, this is about democracy.
Let me just come back to Brian Hoare, who's, for those who don't know, he's on Parliament Square. He's got this encampment. He was actually moved off the square by police. He then came back and sat on the pavement, and that's a different branch of the police or something, so he can't be moved. He can't be moved till May. He has all these placards. They're not particularly tidy, and there's a lot of shouting and megaphones. Now, do you really think, Paul Blanchard, that he should be there on the day of the royal wedding?
Yes, it's freedom of speech. We have the rule of law.
Right near Westminster Abbey.
We have the rule of law in this country. At the end of the day, if someone wants to get rid of Brian and stop him from being there, then they can go through it through the judicial process, which is the proper process. We have a rule of law in this country, and I will say this: I am very proud of being British. But it's not invested in the fact that we have a ridiculous monarchical system where the head of state is inherited. The French and the Americans are no less proud to be French and American just because they have a republic and an elected head of state, and that's what we should have.
So 4 billion people wanting to watch the wedding worldwide, we've all got it wrong, have we?
2 million people watched El Dorado when it was on 10 years ago. What are you saying, that we should bring that back?
No, what I'm saying is, look, there is a time and a place for everything.
Yes, and the time and the place to choose our head of state is at the ballot box, just like many other forward-thinking countries do. We've got to be progressive about this.
Simon, the thing is that the time and the place for the protesters is April the 29th, isn't it? That is the day to get yourself seen on every TV set in the world.
Well, of course they'll get themselves set on every TV set in the world. But what about respect? Not just for the royal family, but for the billions of people. We asked for this day, this joyous day, to be allowed to celebrate.
We're not denying it to them. They're having Westminster Abbey, for goodness sake.
May I just, Paul?
And all the pomp and ceremony that goes with it.
In the last few hours, I've just seen on the internet a photo of William and Kate with the headline, "Time to tie the knot," with nooses around their neck. That is the sort of hatred that permeates this country.
Oh, I see. So because there's one nutter, that means that we can't.
They're not just one nutter. You allow these demonstrations. There are hundreds of them. Why should we be distracted?
As long as they're peaceable and they're orderly and they're within the law.
But they won't be. It'll be hijacked, just like it was on Saturday.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Thank you both very much. Simon Ward, teacher and novelist, and Paul Blanchard, Labour councillor, was and Republican still. And these are the killers.